Hello and welcome along to Storytime with Uncle Gravy. Big hellos to Theo and Isaac and Joseph and all the regular watchers and listeners. I'm happy to be the little soundtrack to you while you're pottering around or doing things or ticking off chores from a list. So I hope you're all well, and we are getting close to the end of this first book. Book 2 is just about to be finished and edited, but I'm interested to hear from you either in the comments or a little message or anywhere really. Just let me know. Ash, Bernie and Chris. Just the names. You may have spotted, you may not have spotted, but there aren't any pronouns in this book. So I'm really interested to know and to hear from you whether you think that they are male or female, old or young, or what comes to you when you hear the names and how they behave. It's just really interesting to me. So let me know if you want to. If you don't, that's fine. Just carry on enjoying the story. So we're going to pick up from where we left off yesterday, and all the creatures are starting to head towards the same place. And we'll find out what happens next. Hedgehogs do not see very well. They can make out shapes and lines, but do not need to rely on sight to find food or to get around. What they do rather well, though, is notice when the world around them is dark or light. And Tilda and her family knew that it was now time to go for their midnight feast. They had followed their mother on the same route each night since they had begun feeding themselves, and now set off to the starting point together in silence, without the need of any nudges from their mum. Waiting for them, feeling excited for lots of reasons, were Ash and Darcy, who had arrived where the hedgehogs were now heading to just as the lights went out in Holly's house. Darcy was standing up, very tall, and with a hand, looking as though it was saluting something. "Darcy, my friend, what is going on there? Are you having a practice, or trying to prepare? You look like you've lost something, searching about. Or is there another tail left to come out?" Darcy relaxed a little, as much as Darcy could, and then proudly explained to Ash what was happening. "Never have I ridden hedgehogs for fun. Tonight is a huge jar of new things begun. I want to look steady, but see where I'm going, so I wanted to practice. A new skill for showing. The hedgehogs will want to be told where they are, so I want to see things, up close and afar. I think if we ride to the hole, you and me, with hands near my eyes, it will help me to see. But sat on a hedgehog's back might not be easy. With practice, I'll look good, and that fact will please me." Ash chuckled at Darcy's planning, but also at the ideas. Ash, Bernie and Chris had never commented on how any of them looked, or had any reason to. As long as their fur and fluff wasn't tangled, and they didn't have raspberry or blackberry juice on their backs, there didn't seem any reason to think it was important. Darcy, though, clearly had a different way of thinking, and Ash wondered for a moment if this was due to living alone for so long, or maybe it came from somewhere else. "Ash, I hear snuffles. Look, see, grass is moving. Oh, moonbeams, this evening is really improving." For an animal so large compared to a Rustle, the hedgehogs were very good at just appearing without much warning. And before Darcy had really finished clapping hands and bouncing on the spot, which seemed to be a very common habit, a large hedgehog approached the spot where they were standing, with Tilda, Hattie and Hazel following in a perfect line behind. Tilda's mother could smell Ash and Darcy perfectly well, but when she looked at where they should be, she was surprised at how little there was to make out. Being this close, she was expecting to see an outline or a shape, but the lines were more blurred than normal. Tilda had told her about what they looked like and felt like, but she decided that maybe their fur and fluff just broke up the picture around them and made it easier for them to blend in. After a few seconds, Ash could see that Darcy was just about to stop the bouncy movements and start talking, so got in first. "Hello, I'm Ash. Darcy's here, and he's taller. And you must be Tilda's mum?" "Tilda's much smaller. Hattie and Hazel and Tilda were kind, so we'd like to help if you're blurry or blind." We all see the glowing, the green lit up trail. We all want to go there tonight without fail. So if you are happy, we'll ride on your backs and call out the things that we see on the tracks. For none of us know what is there at the end, but all of us know we'll be safe with a friend. Ash's voice sounded odd to Tilda's mum, but just like her children, she could understand it, even though it wasn't her language. These are very strange creatures indeed, she thought, but still found herself feeling relaxed by what had been said. I must say, there are a lot of strange things happening in this garden at the moment, and I think the idea of you two riding on my hoglets' backs is one of the strangest. But if we are all going over there, let's go together and help each other if we can. I will go at the front though, and when we get to the end of the green path, it will be me that goes through any gap first. I'm not going to take any risks with my hoglets. Ash and Darcy agreed with this plan in an instant, and were soon getting into position. Darcy helped Ash to climb up onto a point just behind Tilda's head, where a couple of prickles made perfect handles to hold on to. Tilda's mother then nudged Darcy, now squealing and almost singing with excitement, up onto her nose and then up onto Hazel's back, in just the same area as Ash. The two Russells now looked like very small, very odd horse riders, sitting up straight with a firm grip on useful equipment. After a check with Hattie, Tilda's mum said the words that made both of Ash and Darcy's tummies go very twirly. Right then, I can see the light now. Let's go and find out what is at the end of the path. When all the house lights had gone out, Jake and Holly had both jumped a little. They didn't know when it was going to happen, and the sudden change had really drawn their eyes towards the hole in the fence, which now looked even more mysterious and exciting. The plan for the night was to stay awake as long as possible, looking and listening for any signs of hedgehogs. If they were unlucky, they had agreed that they would put out some food near the hole for a few nights to try and tempt some to the hole by using tasty smells. For now, they were lying down on their tummies, with their elbows dug into the ground sheet and their chins resting on their hands. They were both staring at the hole in silence, listening hard and hoping harder that their experiment was really going to work. If Holly and Jake's eyesight had been as sharp as the cat's, and if they had known about where to find Russell's, they would have known they were looking almost directly at Bernie and Chris, who had now got to a point so close to the hole that they had to be even more careful not to be seen. Chris had been thinking and worrying all the way over the last section of the walk, but was now almost happy to have got to the point where there could be no more lies or hoping, just the truth. With a very deep breath, Chris raised a hand, stopping Bernie instantly, and turned around before simply saying, "Bernie, my friend, the time has come. I've been thinking about this all day. I will go to the hole and look at the thing I think I saw last night. When I come back, I will tell you what I think, and everything will become clear." Bernie thought this sounded pretty much like what Chris had said earlier, but there was a different sound to the voice, which sounded less positive. Either way, Bernie smiled bravely and wished Chris luck, watching as the final few feet of the journey to the truth now begun. Under a bright and powerful full moon, life was now walking towards life. New friends were about to meet old. Lost friends were going to reunite. Worlds were going to join, never to be separated again. And none of the creatures would know this until the very last moment. And there's a cheeky pause. Now, I would very, very much like just to carry on today, but my time, believe it or not, is actually limited because I've got lots of other things to do, including working on a poetry workshop online. So if you know anybody that would like a poetry workshop online, let me know, because I'm doing one. And yes, I hope you're all well. I hope you're enjoying the story. And tomorrow, well, we'll find out what happens tomorrow. But as I've just finished off there, you've got a pretty good idea of what's just about to happen. This is one of those things that actually, when you read it out, it's a slightly different to if you were reading the book. Because if you were reading the book, the momentum would keep going and you just keep turning the pages and turning the pages. But I have to do these in 10-minute clips. So forgive me for book straight away, but it will be worth it. So thanks for watching today. Stay well, keep smiling, find something to smile about if you haven't smiled yet today, and I will see you all tomorrow.